building a social community, a social group, city fam, while preaching a message of abstinence. Think about that. That's not easy to build. Like when you're trying to build a social group, when you talk as loud as I do about waiting to have sex, that's not popular. Hey guys, what's up? It's Rob. Today is Thursday, April 18th. I'm here at the City Fam offices. It's about 20 till 6. I know that because I'm going to do a YouTube live at 6 o'clock, so I'm going to try to make this fast. But wanted to talk about a few things and just kind of stay consistent and document the journey. So thanks for tuning in. If you're tuning in live or if you're watching the replay, whatever, maybe you're watching it on YouTube. But just want to dive into it. So always try to start the videos off with being transparent about, where I'm at, like my current state. Good, it's getting better slowly. There's been some really good things that have happened recently that I'm going to talk about on this video, but still hard, still having to dig deep to find the energy every day to push through and work and do the things that I need to do. I guess you would say I'm still struggling a little bit. I attribute it to the level of discipline that I've lived at for the last several years, where for the most part, just working a lot, going home, going to bed, getting up the next day, doing it again, throwing in some working out, some life coaching, working on myself, reading a lot, grinding, and, being abstinent and, not having a lot of money. So it's just been this really narrow place, this narrow path I've been on of extreme discipline. And it just, after a while, it's just hard, it wears on you. Like I haven't had cable in 7 years. So just to go home and not even really be able to kind of, veg out and watch TV on some days it's just challenging. But, it produces stuff, it produces things, but at the same time, it wears on your emotions after a while, and it's been challenging. I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I really want people to appreciate how hard it is, what we're doing, and what we're trying to build, what we are building. It's like, when I promote it, it was easy, because sex sells. That shit was easy to promote that. I'm building a social community, a social group, city fam, while preaching a message of abstinence. Think about that. That's not easy to build. Like when you're trying to build a social group, when you talk as loud as I do about waiting to have sex, that's not popular. People don't necessarily want to attend those events. You know what I mean? Even people in the church world, a lot of them ain't waiting. You know what I mean? So like it's just extremely difficult to do what we're doing and what we're trying to do. And at times it's frustrating and it's emotional because you give so much to it and it doesn't do what you wanted it to do. And you don't get the payoff. You don't get the people show up to your event. I'm not making any money. I'm just volunteering. I'm trying to affect change in people's lives. And then you get criticism from people and haters, and people misunderstand you, and it's challenging, and sometimes it wears on your emotions, but it makes you really resilient is the one thing that I have to say about it. It makes you tough mentally, and it just, the Bible says that suffering produces perseverance. And man, it's true, because after a while, like you just develop, you're able to stick to it and just get through just about anything, and I think that's probably been the purpose, because I know that it could have been a lot easier. God could, breathe on it, blow on it that easy, and make it do what we've wanted it to do now for the last 4+ years. But he hasn't, not to the way that I guess we wanted it to. So anyway, it's a lot of good stuff that's actually now starting to happen, and I'm going to dive into it a little bit. So I mentioned in this video, I mentioned about, not having a girlfriend and some of the other videos. And I just want to make sure that I'm clear about, so I was dating someone at the end of last year and the beginning of this year, and we stopped talking in February. So for anyone watching, it ended. We could not get into a rhythm. So just kind of called it off because it really wasn't fun for either of us. And this was a girl, that I know God told me that was the one. So, but when we linked up, it was not, we could not get into a group. It wasn't fun for either of us. So, I don't know what that meant or where I stand with all that. I really don't talk about it, to be honest, out of respect for her. So I'm just kind of like at a place now where I'm moving on, and just assuming that, people have free will, and maybe she was the one at one time and, chose not to reciprocate, you know what I mean? And made her decision, and now that's kind of freed me up. So that's where I'm at. So I'm kind of like in a place where, really for the first time in 19 years, that I really feel free, like to go out and, look for someone else and move on. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that because a couple people asked, they're like, I thought you had a girlfriend. So, anyway, that's it. And back to what I was saying earlier with, and I'm a little all over the place today, but back to what I was saying with the place that I've been lately emotionally and how I've been struggling is, what I've kind of come to learn or really understand is that, if you're going through, like, let's say you're depressed, right? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that'll watch this that suffer with depression. It's a pretty common thing. If you just do what you know is right to do, and don't let the feelings, the emotions rule you, like, it goes away. Like, so for me, as long as I know if I go to the gym, I'm always going to feel better after. There's times I get up in the morning and I just don't want to go. Like, I'm tired. I want to sleep in. I'm like, I just don't want to keep running. Like, not literally, but yes, also literally. I just don't feel like working out. But I know when I go, it always makes my day better. You know what I mean? And if I follow my routine in the morning, like it always like makes me feel better and snaps me out. I woke up the other morning and I was down. I was kind of depressed, and I was just like, God, when is this breakthrough going to happen, kind of thing. And I did my morning routine. And by the way, if you're watching this and you don't have a morning routine and you want a good morning routine, message me. I'll send you mine. The one that I followed now the last several years, and I was taught most of it by life coaches, high performance coaches. But I do my quiet time. I read a little bit. I do visualization, and I was visualizing, and I was seeing, my life in a few years, how I want my life to be, the person that I want to be. I always try to visualize that, and then I try to reverse engineer it. And I had this idea about this book that I had wrote with my wife, and it was called Waiting Worked. So I went on to GoDaddy and I looked up waitingwork.com, and it was available. So I bought it, $12.99. And I was like, and I got into this vision in my head about, picture of me and my wife on the cover talking about how it worked, waitingwork.com, or Waiting Work, the name of the book. And it got me excited, it got me really excited because I'm like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to write this book with my wife. And man, it just snapped me out of it. I went to the gym that morning, I worked out, and I ended up feeling great. And it's like, if you just do what you know is right to do, regardless of how you feel, you'll make it, you know what I mean? And feelings aren't facts, you'll snap out of it. Just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean that's actual facts, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because you're like, sometimes I'll look at around and I'm like, God, I'm still, driving this car, or I'm still, living in this place, whatever. Like, you look at what's in your hand and it makes you feel a certain way, but that's not facts, because there are all kinds of things going on, around me and the organization that sometimes I don't see. But even if I just stop and I write gratitude, which is also a part of my routine, then I start seeing all the blessings. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, that's amazing, and I'm really grateful for that. So anyway, for what it's worth, routine is important. Don't let your feelings derail you from doing the right things so that you get to what you want most, instead of what you want right now. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense. So I'm always looking for self-development, ways to kind of better myself, things I can add to my routine. And so recently I had a girl reach out to me from another country, from Romania actually. And I'll talk about that in a moment. And she's a psychologist, and I was like, hey, I would be interested in maybe talking to you. So she reached out to me because she found me on YouTube. She's like, I love your message. I want you to come to Romania. I do a lot with the schools here, with the kids. I want you to speak in front of the kids. I do a lot with the pro-life movement, and was talking to me about that. That's when she told me she was a psychologist. And I was like, hey, I'd be interested in talking to you, because I don't know that there's anything like down there, but you know, there might be, you know, and I want to find out, because if there is, I always want to be a better version of myself. And, you know, my childhood, my upbringing, you know, things were tough, you know, so I'm like, maybe there is some stuff down there that I need to look at. So I've done that now twice. I met with her twice now, and it's been interesting, you know, like it's just digging, you know, it's like plowing. Like somebody said that to me yesterday, it's like plowing your heart. And that's a really good analogy, because that's what it feels like, where you're looking at, you're pulling up a rock and you're looking at all the nasty stuff under there, and it's been good, you know. So I'm learning stuff about myself, you know, like even when you get depressed, you know, it's rooted in something. It's rooted in you not having control, or you know, you wanting safety, or you wanting approval. It's always one of those three things. So now I'm starting to feel things. I'm like, well, where is this coming from? Like, why do I feel this way? So anyway, just mention it because, again, just kind of documenting and being transparent. So Operation EMT, Enlarge My Territory, is in full swing. I'm really excited about it. I am, you know, traveling a lot the next 4 to 6 weeks. I start next week in Newark, Delaware. I'm going up there just for a day to meet with a leader, Daphne Shanice Rico, who's starting a City Fam chapter in Newark, Delaware. And I'm going to meet with some people up there, some meetings that she set up. Some people, one person that runs a nonprofit, another church leader, and some of her team, Daphne's team. So I'm excited about that. Go to Ocean City that weekend, the 26th to the 28th. I have a meeting there. And then I go to Houston the following weekend, which is I'll be there May 2nd through May 5th. And then I drive to Dallas on May 6th, and I'll be there May 6th and May 7th. And then I fly to Phoenix on May 8th. And stay there to the 15th, and then I'm either coming back to Baltimore, or I'm going to Nashville from there. I'm not sure, but in all those places, I'm meeting with leaders, people that have reached out to City Fam, that are excited, that are in various stages of the process of having their own chapter, and I'm trying to do as many purposeful meetings in each place as I can when I go, because I want to just drum up excitement and support for these new chapters so that they can get off the ground. So I'm looking really to meet with, you know, leaders of other healthy communities, whether it's churches or recovery centers or people in media. I would love to meet with, so radio, television, podcast, any of that. Every city that we go to, they're having like a gathering where they're getting the people together that are interested. So, you know, anywhere from 12 to 20 people in a room together, where I can, you know, tell them the ladder and the idea of City Fam and get everybody on the same page. So I'm really excited. You know, just for personal reasons, I'm excited because I'm excited to get out of Baltimore and out of this, you know, this same 12 to 15 hour routine I've been in for the last few years working in the office. But also I love this part of it. I love going, meeting new people. I love casting vision. And, you know, people respond really positively to it when they see the ladder, you know, when they see what City Fam is, and they're like, yeah, that is a problem. Like, wow, you know, so many people are dealing with it on whatever side they're on. Maybe they're the people that are sitting at home bored out of their mind, or maybe they're the person that's going to the bars making decisions that aren't really serving them, but people can relate to it. And I'm excited. I'm really excited because I know that we're on the ground level of doing something really special, and now, you know, people from all over the country are seeing it and recognizing it. So it's very it's exciting, it's gratifying, and you know, we have some meetings, like some big meetings in these places with like just people that I really have no business even being in the same room as. And it's just like God is just opening doors for us to connect with people, you know, to in order to advance this vision. And that really is just like him, because he'll open doors for you and put you in rooms with people that you just don't have any business being in that room. You know, like I was sitting with a business owner, met with him 3 times now. Or is it twice? I think maybe we met twice. His name is Brian Rogers, and he's worth a lot of money, and he loves the vision of City Fam, and he loves home, and it's just like, you know, how else would I have gotten into a room with him, you know, outside of, you know, something divine that put me there. And at least that's what I believe. So anyway, but people, since I posted where we're going, the places that I'm traveling to, people have reached out and they're like, hey, come to Florida, come to LA. And, you know, and I'm like, I'd love to. Give me a reason. You know what I mean? So if you're watching this and you're not in any of those cities that I mentioned, start a Why Waiting Works small group and do that. It's an 8-week curriculum that it's called The Truth About Sex, is the curriculum. And it has a social event on week 5 and a service event on week 7. And by the end of those 8 weeks, you have your little tribe. And if you want to start a City Fam chapter, I promise you I'll come out and visit and I will help you get it off the ground. But that really is the first step. So you can check that out. I got videos to go with all 8 weeks. I have conversation questions with every week. And, you know, people love to talk about sex. So it's not that hard to get a group of people together to talk about it. Doesn't matter if they agree, they can disagree, they can be having sex, you know, all the sex. But this is going to help them start to wrestle with those hard things that they probably have never thought about. And hopefully by the end of it, they'll see some value in waiting. So anyway, you can go to whywaitingworks.com and check that out. Got big news. I think it was day before yesterday. I found out I won the Baltimore Sun's Reader's Choice Poll for Best Book, and that was pretty exciting. So I want to thank everybody that voted. It was made my day, to be honest. So anyway, it was big news. I was very excited to see that. I was also very happy to see that my friends Chris and Lori Lockamy won for Best Clergy Person, Brandon Howard won for Best Barbershop, and Melissa Bonham won for Mid Major. So that was exciting. And lastly, who else won? That was it. That was of the people that I know. Those were the people that won. So Epic Church actually really cleaned house. It was pretty exciting to see that happen, and it really, to me, is just a testament that, you know, when you surround yourself with good people, good things happen to you. You know what I mean? So we're right now, like, you know, in Epic and City Fam, there's a lot of people that are just like going after their dreams and working their asses off and becoming the best version of themselves. And then you see things like this happen for them, and you know, it's pretty cool. So thank you for everyone that voted. I don't know what that means for me or the book, but maybe I'll be able to get it in some local bookstores now that it's voted, you know, Reader's Choice winner for Best Book. We'll see what happens. Found out yesterday the City Fam trademark was approved, which is big news for us. That was a couple years in the making, so that was exciting. I am more than likely going to Romania at the end of July. Again, that girl that reached out to me a couple weeks ago, we started communicating, messaged me today, gave me the dates, wants me to come about, it's 11 or 12 days, I think, end of July to the beginning of August. And she actually wants me to come back and be in Romania from September to the beginning of November. So I would actually be there for anywhere from like 6 to 9 weeks. So I don't really have the details about that, but I'm not against it. There's nothing holding me back. So I'm just trying to find out what I would be doing, where, you know, if I would just, where I would stay. I don't know anything yet, but it was exciting to hear that. And again, that to me is one of those things where, like, God's opening doors that you're like, that I just, you know, like, to me, it's like, wow, this is crazy. Like, you know, I don't know. It just is a little mind-blowing. You know, like, I know I have an important message. I do. I have an important message, and I have a way of explaining it that people are able to relate to it and understand. But you know, I don't know. I guess I never really thought that, you know, I would be traveling to another country, you know, to give that message. And it's pretty cool, I have to say. It's exciting. So that's it. We'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. Lastly, last couple things. Newark event. Newark is having their first social event on April 27th. A bunch of us from Baltimore will be going there. It's called Salsa Meets Glam. If you want more information about that, I'll post a link in a comment on this post where you can pre-register for that. We are doing our next Renegade at Dock of the Bay. It's going to be called Family Reunion, and it's going to be free for free for anyone that pre-registers. So maybe you were a regular attendee in the past, maybe you haven't came to an event in a while. We want to bring everybody, all the old heads back together and just have everybody there for one night. So it'll be free of charge. Would love to see you. If you're watching this, come out, hang out Friday, May 3rd at Dock of the Bay. Our next service event is we're partnering with Baltimore Tree Trust. We'll be planting trees in Baltimore City on May 18th. And lastly, Nicaragua trip is November 17th to the 24th. The deadline to get your deposits in, if you'd like to go with us, is May 15th. So if you want to go to Nicaragua with us and do something really cool for some people that you know, really need some help, we're going to build a community center and a playground over there, then get your deposits in and come with us. We have space for 30 people, so we're hoping to fill all those spots. You can find more information about that on the cityfam.com website, but I will also post a link below as a comment. So that's it, guys. See you.
Thank you so much for watching my video on YouTube. I wanted to take a moment here at the end to tell you about something that is not only important to me, it's important to the world. Recently, I wrote a book entitled Why Waiting Works: How Fast Sex Prevents Us from Finding True Love and Long-Term Happiness. It has an average 5-star review on Amazon, and it's written so practically that even readers that didn't agree with my stance on waiting have told me it caused them to reevaluate their lives. So if you or anyone you know is single, or if you or anyone you know is in a physical relationship and not married, I am imploring you to pick up a copy of my book. It literally will take you a maximum of 4 hours to read it and has the potential to change the course of your life. It's one thing to do something that you don't completely understand. It's a whole different thing to do something when you know exactly why you're doing it. And that's what my book is really doing for people. So I just want to thank you in advance. Again, this is something that's important to me, but it's even more important for the rest of the world. And I could really use your help to get the message out. Thank you.